I went to college in New York City. I went to film school. And your senior year in film school, you have to make a senior thesis film. You don't have to make it, but if you want to graduate, you make it. So I guess it's kind of like have to. So the last semester of senior year, everybody's kind of working on their senior thesis. And it costs a lot of money. Back then, this is like late 90s, 2000 actually, which is not late 90s, it's right after that. It's just me showing off math. Time is math. Back then, we still shot on film. And to shoot on film was very expensive. So you had to raise a lot of money if you wanted to make a short film. On average back then, you had to raise about $1,000 to make a minute of film. That was like the math. Now I'm just showing off. That was unintentional. But that's how it worked. So you would raise money to go make your senior thesis. So a friend of mine saved up all his money and got donations and raised money. And he decided it would actually be cheaper for him to film in California, where he was from. So he had to take all the film gear, which you get in New York, take it out to California. So he goes out there for a few days, shoots his film. When he comes back, he's at the airport with all his gear. To get his gear from the airport back to Tisch, where we went to school, he had to rent a car, which was pretty lame because you couldn't fit it all in a cab. He was trying to fit it in multiple cabs. He couldn't, so then he had to break down and rent a minivan. So on a Sunday night, around like, I don't know, midday, I guess, or in the early evening, he gets back, he rents this minivan, he gets all his stuff to Tisch, and he realizes, well, I rented this minivan for a day, so I feel like I should take better advantage of this. So I get a phone call around 8 o'clock, maybe 9 o'clock on Sunday night, and he's like, hey, I have a minivan, which was a big deal. Nobody who went to school in New York City had a car, so if anyone had a car, you need to understand what a big deal this was. He's like, I have a minivan until tomorrow, do you want to go to Atlantic City? And I said, no, I have an internship that I need to be at 10 a.m. He said, you'll make it. And I'm like, I don't think I will, but if you can round up more people to go, I'll go. Now, this is my friend Kirk, and I haven't thought about my friend Kirk in a while, but my friend Kirk, last I talked to him, moved to South Korea, and he's just an adventurous guy, a great guy, but he could convince you to kind of do anything. And it wasn't like wild partying anything. It was just like he had this ability to really give you FOMO, fear of missing out, back before that was like a thing. Like, we're going to go on an adventure. That's how they get you. You were going on an adventure. And sure, you would go on an adventure. So he makes a couple more phone calls, calls me back. This is all on our dorm room phones. I want to be clear, we did not have cell phones. He's like, well, I round up some people. We got about 4 people who are going to go. Our friend Andrew was going to go. We just have to pick him up. He's going to meet us at a bar. I don't know. So I say yes. All right, I'm going to go. But I was like, I got to be back for my internship 10 a.m. So I go. Next thing you know, I'm standing outside waiting for a minivan to pick me up. We drive over to a bar. We pick up our friend Andrew. When we went inside to get Andrew, there was like nobody in the bar. It's Sunday night. So there's nobody in the bar except like a few other people. So one of the guys he's talking to says, hey, where are you guys going? Andrew's like, we're going to Atlantic City. He's like, I'm coming. Now I never hung out with that guy before that night, and I've never hung out with him since. But he came on this trip. So I don't know. I vaguely remember who was with us at this point, because it's many years later. But about 5 of us ended up in the minivan. Next thing I know, we're on our way down the Garden State Parkway. Now, we had no money. Well, we had some money, but not like a lot of money. That's why we were taking full advantage of a rental van and not letting it sit on the street overnight. That would be a waste of good money. So as we were driving down on the Garden State Parkway, in order to save money and in order to raise money for gas, we stopped at every toll booth. And on the Garden State Parkway, you used to just throw like 35 cents into the thing. So a lot of people would throw, and if you missed, then you honk the horn and you go, and it was a very Jersey thing. And our friend Andrew was from Jersey. It's the only way we knew how to get to Atlantic City, because we didn't have GPS or anything. But we stopped at every toll booth, and everyone in the van jumped out except the driver and picked up loose change. And that's how we paid for all of our tolls and a lot of our gas the whole way down. And then we get to Atlantic City. Now, I don't remember much about Atlantic City, I got to be honest. So we were there. I do remember that. I'm running out of time. Okay, so not a lot happened in Atlantic City that I remember. I do know that we drank fairly cheaply there because you just fake playing a slot machine on a Sunday night in the middle of spring. There's nobody there, so waitresses are more than happy to bring you a drink for a $1 tip. So we basically used change that we had picked up on the highway to give tips. So I don't know. I drank a decent amount. And I remember saying to Kirk, we have to leave at this time. I had worked out the math to leave at this time to make it back for my internship. And to be safe, I said 6 a.m. So around 7 a.m., we got back on the road and then started heading north. And I was only 15 minutes late for my internship, I'm proud to say. And that's mainly because I had to go back to my dorm room and change. So there's 2 valuable lessons here. Number 1, if a friend calls you and asks you to go on an adventure, always go. Number 2, take a change of clothes. Then you don't have to go back to your dorm. You'd be on time for your internship. That's it.